It's official. We're at war. This is all you and your lot's doing, you stupid great fart. Brexit is tearing this bloody great country of yours apart. Rubbish. I'm sick to the hind teeth of this fear-mongering grumbling. We're going to be strong and stride out on our own. This has been the general tone in our home since Brexit started to look like a bag of shit to me, ma'am. For decades we've let those Europeans pick over us like vultures squabbling over a mangy old bone. There's a sort of dark, glum cloud hanging over the land. Whether leaver or remainer, it seems everyone feels they've been dealt a bad hand. Dad's trying to slip back down behind his paper, but Mum is like a firework with a lit taper. Confident, are you? Confident it's all going to work out? Not a shadow of doubt in that proud heart of yours. I don't care what you say, because I believe in the UK. Blam blam, pow pow. Harsh words pinging like bullets off the kitchen cabinet. We should be doling out our own orders while taking control of our own borders. Our delightful, peaceful habitat. A bloody Brexit battleground. Round and round, up and down it goes. What we need is another vote, last mum. Don't be so bloody dumb. The people voted already, they'll not be ignored. It's like a broken record. As I open a baked bean tin, I pitch in. But didn't the people vote for something that wasn't properly explained? He looks pained. Ganging up on me now, are you? In case you missed it, his face just drained of colour. I mean, it was dull before, but now it's duller. Taking your mother's side. I'm just saying I heard a lot of leavers lied, and I don't know, because if I'm honest, I'm not an economist, but isn't it fair to say, Dad, leaving the EU may well turn out to be bad? Only because they want to see us fail. Only because our lot couldn't do a deal at cash converters. It's only these things that are going to bloody hurt us. It's more my future than it is yours. You have to trust us. I have to trust half the people. More than half treacle. Only just. And what about the ones that didn't vote? Too late for them, they've missed the boat. Mum's twitching eye lets us know she's had her fill. Are you ready to dig deep and foot the bill? Brexit seems to have crept up from the bowels of the earth. Like some ancient leviathan, its endless tentacles reaching out to every inch of old Albion, cutting a gargantuan swathe through this great field of British population, creating a situation where everyone's got an opinion, and where 17.4 million people can't be wrong, but 16.4 million can. And maybe the Brexiteers are right, but what is the fucking plan? I need to get out of this battleground, this cacophony, tear this fear from off of me. I'll go to a place where I feel free, get some sea air at the quay. I spot Jimmy Smith sitting off at the Redder. His eyes are sunken and his skin is pale. He's not been right since leaving that army. Everyone thinks he's balmy, but I talk to him. My dad was in the army, me and my brothers in the cadets. No worries, no debts, sips of lemonade between parades. It was just something to do. I felt like I belonged to something safe and real. These days I'm not sure how I really feel. How's it going, Jim? He just looks at me, all lost at sea. But I remember him as I sat at the bayside where the military band would parade up the promenade toward the links, drinkers clinked their drinks and cheered on the marching uniforms of greys and greens and blues, fluttering newspapers blowing past their stomping shiny shoes. The drums bashed out their proud, precise rhythm and the brass band played on in tight precision. Jimmy looking all puffed up and proud, knowing exactly who he was and what he stood for, so sure of himself and of where he belonged, how I longed to follow in his path. Now he just chuckles that hollow laugh. My great-great-granddad was blown up by the Germans, and his son by the Japanese. Europe festered with a terrible disease. There's been 2 world wars, but now they might just come in 3s. And he's fingering the holes in his knees and he looks quite pleased. He gets up, heads north, but don't you worry, there won't be a 4th. And he gives me a pat. Has our country become a doormat? The words of welcome almost faded away, all frayed and weathered, held together by dust and dirt. Am I the same? Is this why I hurt? I jump off the Metty at the station. As I walk, I wonder if my life has entered some sort of stagnation, a sort of epic constipation, a blocked drain, choked up by all the shite that's pumped down my throat, by blogs and Instagram, WhatsApp images, Twitter and tweets, YouTube freaks, packets of data whizzing to and fro, of faces softened with a fancy filter glow, sparkling enlarged anime eyes, perfect apple pies, status truths and status lies, video shaming, avatar naming, culture blaming, liking, not liking, thumbs up, thumbs down on this social media merry-go-round. arrive here and I veer past the handbags and man bags, vapes and fags straight to the shore of Whitley Bay. As the waves roll and churn, the gulls make their turns and swoops in the bright blue sky above me. So high, so loud, so free. This is where I come when my head is full of noise and clutter. I stand on the sand and let the sun splash into me like melting butter. My eyelashes flutter like tiny little leaves in the sea breeze. And I gaze out at the abandoned ships. Stuck, useless, empty, rusting lines swaying monoliths to more prosperous open times. Their future in doubt. The day thrusts upon the beach as the blazing hot sun reaches out to touch the sand. Fingers of light from that great fiery hand. Beams splashing over the sea wall to fall upon the Spanish city. Lighting up its pretty white dome. And further the Rome picking out the deep red facade of the arcade. A fading accolade to a bygone age. I'm not against progression. A place has to progress or become a tangled mess. Trapped in a faded photograph where the waters are forever still. I feel a bit lost, if I'm honest. Astonished at how uncertain the future seems right now. Watch slope public toilets for a pee. And what do I see? The back of the cubicle door is covered in racist slurs. Ugly words scrawled by hands of hate. I've seen a lot more of this sort of thing of late. I just sit and stare, bewildered, no longer understanding this world. Battle Hill, Wallsend. If ever a place had a trend for change, this is it. Sagadunum Fort, built by the Romans to protect Hadrian's Wall. But all empires fall, and they faded away to leave the day to the Picts and Angles, Saxons, followed by the din of Viking raids struggling for mastery, until William of Normandy came and wove his tapestry. Shipbuilding and coal mining came and prospered, then died their death, but Wallsend still has breath. I guess I'm searching for something in the lifeblood of places I know, to help find the answers, to help my thoughts flow. I head to a wall designed for unity, to shelter and house and build a community. Biker brings something different to the table. As I pass through the wall, I feel like I'm entering a fable. I'm reminded of my old Lego, those primary colours, but here they somehow seem fuller. Those yellows, greens, reds and blues, strong and bold, seem to uphold buildings as mason nets stretch and curve out of sight in every direction, creating something different with the people who lived here. Erskine included their ideas and their solutions. His and their contributions created this unique place, this strange romantic face of Newcastle upon Tyne. Not without its problems and hassles, not without its rogues and rascals. All places have those things. Just under 1 square kilometre of bumps and humps, twists and turns, ferns and willows. 3 young lads wheelie past me, front wheels high, leaning back, and I follow their flow. And before I know it, I'm in the community centre. Inside, there is a din of so many different languages. A child's in his own world, bouncing his ball, and I notice the food at the back of this ornate hall. All this food is reclaimed supermarket waste, reads the sign. I take a look at the meals on offer and there's a bucket to put in your coffer. There's a lad a bit younger than me. His cup of tea's cold and he looks sad. Hi, are you okay? He stops tapping his cup and looks at me, his eyes a sea of sorrow. He says he has to leave soon, maybe tomorrow. And he doesn't know what's worse, leaving his school and his friends or ending up in a country he doesn't remember. He says his dad drives trucks and everyone at the base voted to leave. They think his dad's a hard worker, but the rest of the migrants are shirkers who come here for benefits and NHS. Pests who need sending away. I don't know what to say other than I don't feel that way. Newcastle upon Tyne. Population at this time 300,000. That's a lot of heartbeats that need their eats. The hustle and bustle surrounds me, everything shiny, everything new. It's hazy and heavy and hard to see through. Cash for gold, all new, no old. My head won't clear, there are places I can't get to. Bright white light, does my bum look big in this light? Spend and lend and get the latest trend. Sail, kale, succeed, fail, and I don't think I'm alone in the howl of all of this. When every day new news punches with an iron fist. but I can't shake this feeling of being born and torn, of shrugging off a past of clothes that I've worn, of being wrapped in a bubble of plastic and glare, of feeling the cost of what I eat, what I wear. Are we just walking, talking parasites? Ravenous mites sucking sustenance and materials from the earth. Each one of us is worth more than our flesh and bone. And on that assumption, how much wheat is grown for our consumption? How much insecticide used to treat it? How much to fertilise it, tend it, cut it, store it, mill it, deliver it, package it, deliver it once more, maybe twice or thrice more. Then you have to go and collect it and bring it back to your door. All that carbon pouring into the air. Do we care where the clothes on our backs come from? Each fibre, whether polyester or cotton, synthetic or carbon. Did fingers bleed to put that shirt on your back? Did backs break pushing them into sacks? Am I against fracking because I'm afraid my house might get a trembling, or because of the Armageddon it might be sending? Watches, phones, shillings, pounds, all containing metals mined from the ground. Is it all necessary for us here on the Tyne to have the life we want? Is this the life we want? To become a student, I must take on debt. If I want to get that career, that job will take away the fear of 0-hour contracts. I must make the right contact, attract the right attention, and be careful of the things I mentioned in the past on the net, because what you once said can become a new kind of debt. Is this the life we want? Where Russian brides are sold, where migrants drown in cold northern waters, where daughters earn less than sons, where single mums are made to feel bad, where dads get depressed and walk into the sea, where reality TV is the new gladiatorial arena, where we grumble it's not the right creamer for our coffee, but in Syria it's a deadly lottery of life and death and every breath is sacred. A life where we can't see the hate for the hatred. Is this the life we want? Where the youth are invisible to the old because the young live their lives online, where people line up at food banks while the high street banks offer them loans, where old mobile phones pile up in our drawers. At a time when we need unity and clarity more than ever, who is that right now who's going to hold this troubled ship in high seas together? I get on the Metty back to the shore. I've got no journey left in these sore feet anymore. The doors open with a thud. Together they're stood, two girls in hijabs alone giggling together at something on their phone. A squeal of fucking ninjas peeks through stifled laughter. A trio of boys run towards, inclined to cause disaster. An uneasy feeling knowing that in the boy's life this be but a footnote, as I hear a sickening sound roar from their throat. Each boy is gozzed and spat on these girls. The boys scatter away, get on with their day. Every one of us is glued to our seats by our own deceit, silently watching the young girls as they hang their heads low in defeat. We could all see them suffering and trying to heal their emotional scabs, liquid white stains dripping from their hijabs. I couldn't help but stare into their hollowed eyes filled with pain as the train set off again. And as the metro pulls back in slow motion, I see a tear trickle down a girl's face as she holds back an ocean. Whitley Bay, on the shore once more. The sun is away over the west now, falling to wherever it falls. Seagulls are making their last calls. I didn't know them, the girls on the metro, but this feeling won't leave me. This new breed's being born in their bedrooms at home, surfing the darker waters that ebb and flow, caught in a toxic lie that humans are not equal, that there is a superior people, that some of us were made in the image of God Almighty and only those are welcome to stay in Blighty, the drinking this foul brew in their thirst to belong, groomed into creatures who know no right from wrong, guzzling poison and bile until they're good and fed, and while the net sows the seeds, tumours take root in their head. In their own rooms with locks on their doors, lost lions with thorns in their paws. People come here for memorials. It's a thing we do here on the beach. Everyone holding a lantern, letting go a lantern light to float off, up and away into the night. Here on the sand, our feelings have no more need to hide. Do I stay in this damaged state, or is my fate out there across the North Sea? Where do I belong? Where is me? The moon lights up the sand. I stop and take some into my hand. And as the grains cascade through my fingers, a new thought forms and lingers a while. we all belong on this beach of life. Whether a Russian husband or a juggling wife, whether a soldier with a gun in their hand or a farmer who draws life from the land, a revolutionary fighting to be free or a gossip who drinks too much tea, a Bitcoin dealer, a shamanic healer, a jaded politician, a chain-smoking magician, those of us who recycle and those of us who don't, those with empathy, those who gloat, sweatshop workers, miniskirts, burkas, turbans, baseball caps, dating apps, male, female, fluid, gay, bi, straight, pan, transgender, attacker, defender, big spender, money lender. One of these grains represents you, whoever you are and wherever you're from the day you were born into thine kingdom come.